Everyone, welcome to another video. I'm Randy, and this is the 8th in my series where I go through each year and tell you my favorite album, my favorite song, my favorite movie, and my favorite television show. I started in 1950. We're all the way up to 1957, and this is the year where rock's really starting to make an impact. Not as much on the album charts, but definitely on the singles market. And let's get into it with my fourth runner-up for Album of the Year in 1957. And that would be the country album Bimbo by Jim Reeves. It is on the RCA label. And this is his first album for RCA and has the hits Mexican Joe and the title track. Reeves was known as Gentleman Jim and recognized for what became known as the Nashville Sound. For my third runner-up, I don't show a lot of jazz, but I'm sure Gary at Physical Format Rock and Roll will like this. And that's my third runner-up is Art Pepper meets the Rhythm Section. This was an RSD release. If I can get this out of here. Contemporary Records. Art Pepper was known primarily for his saxophone playing, but he could play other instruments. And on this album, playing with him is drummer Philly Joe Jones, bassist Paul Chambers, and pianist Red Garland, they were known for playing with Miles Davis. My second runner-up, and I am a doo-wop fan, and that's Rockin' and Reelin' by the Cadets. This was on the Crown label. And the group started in LA, and most would know them for this novelty song, Stranded in the Jungle. They also recorded under the name The Jacks. There are some ballads here too, but mostly up-tempo numbers. Great doo-wop, The Cadets. And my first runner-up from Nat King Cole. It's called Just One of Those Things. On the Capitol label. But yeah, this can be seen as Nat King Cole's swing album as he works with composer and arranger Billy May, conducting the orchestra, who had worked with Sinatra. It also has some wonderful ballads with some spry arrangements. It's definitely my favorite Nat King Cole album. Just one of those things. And my favorite album of 1957 is The Chirpin' Crickets with the Crickets. This is their debut, and it's the one and only album with Buddy Holly, who would also do a couple of solo albums. It is one of the most important rock debuts, featuring the songs That'll Be the Day, Oh Boy, Maybe Baby, and Not Fade Away, and it influenced so many other up-and-coming artists. Besides Holly, Buddy Holly right there, you have Nicky Sullivan, he was on rhythm guitar, Jerry Allison on drums, and Joe Marlin, he was on double bass. Yeah, classic album, The Chirpin' Crickets, my favorite album of 1957. Not to my favorite song of 1957, my third runner-up from the great Chuck Berry. This is the Super Deluxe, the Great 28 box set. Of course, the Great 28 was a hits compilation. It was on 2 LPs. This also has a third LP, more great Chuck Berry, and a fourth LP, live in Detroit, and a bonus Berry Christmas EP, which I guess I can go ahead and show you that. Also comes with this great booklet. A lot of nice pictures and everything. And there's the original cover you may recognize. Great picture of Chuck there. And then you have some extra Chuck and a live album and the bonus Christmas one with 4 Christmas songs. But yeah, it's going to be, like I said, or did I even say what my favorite was? If I can find it on here, there it is. Rock and roll music. And it was written and recorded by Chuck Berry. The song has been covered by many artists, including the Beatles and the Beach Boys. The original Berry version has the great Lafayette Leak on piano, and the great blues songwriter Willie Dixon on bass, and blues drummer Fred Bello, and of course Chuck Berry on guitar. Rock and roll music. Get this all out of the way. My second runner-up from Elvis Presley. This is Worldwide Gold Hits Parts 1 and 2, and it's the great Jailhouse Rock. Song was written by Jerry Lieber and Mike Stoller, who wrote a bunch of early rock hits for Elvis, and also the Coasters and many others. This was the first single off the soundtrack album for Jailhouse Rock, a movie that was Elvis' third starring role. But yeah, Jailhouse Rock, Elvis Presley. And my first runner-up from the Crickets. Yes, it's That'll Be the Day. It was written by Buddy Holly and Jerry Allison of the Crickets. The title came from a phrase John Wayne kept repeating in the John Ford film, The Searchers. And the song went to #1 on the Billboard charts. It was also the first song recorded by the Quarrymen, who developed into a group you may have heard, the Beatles. Yeah, That'll Be the Day. And my favorite song, 1957. And it's Great Balls of Fire from the great Jerry Lee Lewis. This is Milestones, a great Rhino collection. And there's the song, Great Balls of Fire. The song was written by Otis Blackwell and Jack Hammer. Of course, Otis Blackwell wrote All Shook Up and several other songs for Elvis. And this one was expressly written for Jerry Lee Lewis. And Jerry Lee attacks this song as if he's being possessed. It was one of Sun Records' biggest hits and was featured in the movie Jamboree, in which Jerry Lee performed. Supposedly, the version in the movie, a lot of people would like that to be released because it's a little bit different from what I understand. But I haven't actually seen the movie Jamboree. Favorite song, Great Balls of Fire, Jerry Lee Lewis. Before we get to the movie part, I would like to say that I'm going to try to put links down below to selections off my favorite albums, and also have links to my favorite songs down in the description part. And now we're to movies. And my second runner-up for my favorite movie from 1957 is, some call it Curse of the Demon. It was originally entitled Night of the Demon. Wonderful atmospheric film from Jacques Tourneur that deals with devil worship and a slip of parchment that is very dangerous to possess. Tourneur never wanted to show the monster, even though the one they came up with was pretty good. But Tourneur was very good at letting your imagination provide the horror. Night of the Demon, or Curse of the Demon, whichever one you want to call it. My second runner-up. My first runner-up, Witness for the Prosecution, directed by the great Billy Wilder, an intriguing courtroom drama with many surprises, with Charles Laughton great as the elder barrister, and the wonderful Marlene Dietrich in one of her best performances. And before I say my favorite film from 1957, I will have to admit that I originally had Bridge on the River Kwai as my favorite film, but then realized I did not have a physical copy. And I guess I didn't tell that at the beginning of the video, that I have to have a physical copy to pick it. And also for the television series, it has to be their debut season since they went several seasons. So anyway, I forgot all that part. But so anyway, I guess I don't have a copy of Bridge Over the River Kwai, or else I can't find it, even though I thought I did, and I thought I watched it recently. But oh well. So by default, but it's still a great film. My favorite movie from 1957, 12 Angry Men, directed by Sidney Lumet. This is an absorbing drama surrounding the different personalities of a jury room. It also deals with the art of the argument as a person's life lies in the balance. Henry Fonda puts on a bravo performance in this movie. It's just perfectly directed by Sidney Lumet. 12 Angry Men, my favorite film of 1957. Now for my favorite television show, the third runner-up is the TV show Tales of Wells Fargo. This is a great metal box one. It has the complete first and second seasons on here. It stars Dale Robertson with that great baritone voice. Dale Robertson. Oh, I don't do impressions. He was Wells Fargo agent Jim Hardy, battling the bad guys who hurt the stage line, sometimes interacting with historical characters. They were half-hour episodes until the final season, where they went to an hour and switched to color. Tales of Wells Fargo. And my second runner-up is Have Gun Will Travel. This is the complete first season. It starred Richard Boone as Paladin, a gunfighter who is kind of a Western version of the Equalizer, a problem solver, often with his gun. But he fancied himself a gentleman, and he was based in this posh hotel in San Francisco. It's a great Western series. Have Gun Will Travel. And my first runner-up is Perry Mason. This is season 1, volume 1. I hate it when they split the seasons. They had to get volume 2 too. But yeah, great courtroom series, often in the courtroom, but not always. With Raymond Burr as defense attorney Perry Mason, seemingly never losing a case, much to the chagrin of Police Lieutenant Tragg, played by Ray Collins, and prosecutor Hamilton Berger, played by William Tallman. And Perry wasn't above bending a few rules, including a few laws for his clients. It also starred Barbara Hale as Secretary Della Street and William Hopper as Investigator Paul Drake. And my favorite television show from 1957, it's the great Maverick. Great Western series that interjected more humor than a lot of the others did at the time. This was helped by the performances of James Garner and Jack Kelly. It's James Garner pictured on here. They were brothers Brett and Bart Maverick, with episodes often rotating between them. Sometimes they were both in the same episode. But Garner did eventually leave the series, and it was not the same after that, but it was still entertaining. So that's it. Hope everyone's doing well. Go ahead and put your favorites down below. I always like to see those as well. And everyone have a great day.